And we're back.
Were we on commercial break?
We were from wherever we were before that. Hey.
Hey.
We just saw a movie. Saw a movie. We just saw a movie. I don't know how we'd finish the other words.
We got nothing.
Yeah. We saw a movie.
We did.
This is our first time seeing a movie fully at home. If Downhill has been out, we saw Force Majeure.
We watched that
here to compare against Downhill, but this is the first time. This is the only movie we're watching in our home, not at the theater. And that's because we took 3 years. It's been 3 Oscars.
3 Oscars later.
3 Oscars later. That's what it says as a Tarantino film. It says 3 Oscars later to see this movie, and we decided to talk about it. But first, what have you been up to this week?
Hey, I was in Dallas working.
Oh yeah, you were in Dallas.
Yeah,
that was all this week.
Yeah, it's been a long week, I think.
Yeah, did you get a lot of work done?
Ish.
Yeah. Ish.
Yeah, it was cold.
Oh,
it was really cold, very windy. I was happy to get back to California.
Cold.
Mm-hmm.
Was it raining?
Did it rain? No, not while I was there.
You know, I'm only happy when it rains.
I know.
90s references. Everybody loves them.
Hey, I'm Michelle.
Oh, yeah. I'm Josh.
We forget about that part.
Yeah.
We assume you all know us and love us already.
That's right. All 71 downloads.
Mm-hmm.
Shout out to Italy again and the other people. You know, we're thankful for all the people that have listened or subscribed and then forgot that they subscribed to it. And this analytics are just saying, listen to it.
It's just auto-downloading our episodes. I guess that works. That's fine.
But if you have listened to us and you like us, please comment and subscribe on Apple Podcast and all that crazy stuff.
We're just coming out top of the episode, hitting you up for
why not?
Your reviews and subscribes and stars.
Sorry, I'm all business for
Jumping
some
right
reason.
to it.
But yeah, you know, since there's just a few of you, email us at hey, we just saw a movie podcast at gmail.com and be like, hey, I'm that person from Italy that listened, or I'm the person from Chicago that listened. My name is Chiron. Ooh, giving away spoiler.
Ooh, what did we watch? How was your week? What did you do? What did you do this week? We know this. I don't know why.
I don't know. Maybe the people want to know it. Maybe they want to know who we are as people. Maybe we're not just commodities to them that talk to them about movies.
Well, no, I think it's funny. We're asking each other. We know what each other did this week.
Yeah,
this is for the show.
It's just like when Jimmy Fallon and them, they do a pre-interview, so they know they're going to talk about.
So this past week was our pre-interview.
Yeah.
Now we're doing
the chick from Modern Family. They're going to be like, oh, so I heard you have a cat. And it's like, we already know. Right. We're going to talk about your cat and how it moves its paws like it's a human.
I don't think she has a cat. She's got a bunch of dogs.
I don't know nothing about these people. So,
what did you do this week?
What did I do? I played Zelda.
What'd you do while I was gone?
I played Zelda. I actually worked a lot. I'm writing a new curriculum for the school I teach at, Musicians Institute on Hollywood. And so I'm writing an online Ableton Live class so I can do it from the comfort of my boxers with a shirt on. And then they'll say, hey, what's that behind you? Can you pick up that synth and show me how to work it? And then I stand up and I'm like, no, don't, my shame. But yes, I was doing training on Monday, and then I worked on Tuesday, then I worked on Wednesday, and then I wrote on Monday, and then I wrote on Wednesday a little bit, and then I wrote last night for a little while.
Yeah, you did. You stayed up all night working on this.
I used your computer because mine doesn't have whatever this is called.
You had a pretty productive week. A lot of Zelda-ing and a lot of
making money writing
your curriculum. Hey, if y'all didn't know, Josh is not only an amazing movie podcaster, he's also a musician. And that is what he's talking about with this Ableton
But
business.
You didn't say amazing musician.
Did I not?
You didn't.
Oh,
now
he's
my
an
heart
amazing...
is...
It was implied.
Oh.
Yeah. He's an amazing musician.
Amazing.
Yeah, you got 2 of them.
Ooh.
So y'all can find his music on joshspoon.com.
That reminds me of the Curb episode a couple weeks ago where they went to Clive Owen's play, and he what did he say? He was just like, "Oh yeah, it was good."
He didn't
give him
he left him a voicemail, and he didn't say that the play was amazing. He said he enjoyed it or something.
Right.
He wasn't profuse enough in his.
I forgot what the term they were using. Some term.
Yeah, he didn't gush.
Yeah, but then he was like, "Oh, these almonds, they're amazing." So that's what Jesus did to me.
Sorry. I am your number one fan.
Anybody who plays Zelda out there, hit us up. Let's talk Zelda.
I'm in the very baby stages of Zelda.
She just has a twig and boxer shorts.
No, he's got pants.
Oh, okay.
I put pants on him.
Soft pants?
That's it. I don't know. They look kind of like raggedy pants, but
probably what's his name?
I don't know. At least he's got
the dude
pants.
Who floats the river with
Finn, Huck Finn.
Yeah, Finn. Totally, he floated the river to save the galaxy. Yeah, so that's what I did. Saying that, I feel more productive. I was like, man, I didn't do anything this week. I'm a horrible person.
No, you had
I've done nothing. I'm supposed to be sending some music to a friend, and I didn't.
You posted a new podcast? You posted an episode?
I did.
Man, you had a good week.
That's true.
Hey, also, if you enjoy the little ditty that plays at the beginning of our podcast.
It's all promo.
That is also.
Like me undies.
That is also original Josh Spoon.
That is
material.
That's funny because, we don't have any sponsors, so we could just sponsor ourselves.
You want to do a quick commercial for yourself?
Yeah, Marin goes, hey, I'm going to be in Detroit on the 14th. I'm going to be...
Hey, if you've been having trouble with music production and you need to learn more how to work all these fangled buttons and things, call Josh Spoon.
Fangled.
He'll teach you that Ableton Live.
He'll teach you that Ableton Live?
Yep.
I want to shout out somebody. I've been playing a little bit because I've been playing Zelda, but a friend of mine from college started a game company. I don't remember the name of it. It's got a dog on it. I don't remember the name of
it.
But
That's a terrible shout out.
But this is the shout out.
Okay.
It's called Lab Chaos is the game.
Okay.
So it's on iOS. It's on Android.
Oh, all right. That's the important part.
Yeah, that's the important part. That's the important part.
All right.
So, it's like you have to propel yourself up and around on these things, and then you got to collect stuff before you get sucked into this portal. So you're a something from a petri dish.
Are you?
I think.
Oh, you're not the scientist?
No. So you're something from like a petri dish. You're like a blob, like a flubber. And so it's really cool. I need to play it more because I just like he had been posting about it and it was coming out, and then it came out on Android first, I think, then iOS. And I downloaded it. I was like, whoa, this is like hard and fun.
So you're like a bacteria that's growing and taking over? No,
you're not taking over anything. Okay. Download the game.
You're just, okay, I
Download
will.
the game.
Sorry.
Lab Chaos.
Okay.
Free advertising.
What's it called again?
It's called Lab Chaos. We're getting ready for when we blow up. And all the sponsors.
We're practicing.
So shout out to Ben Merritt. All right. Let's stop dilly-dallying here.
We're gonna get to
Stop fooling around. Not playing with you guys. But I am because I love you all. Emotions. All of you. Every ounce of you. Even that weird toenail you have. So the movie that we saw was, what was it?
Moonlight. I don't know what that was. Let's cut that out.
It
was Moonlight. We saw Moonlight.
I forgot the song from Moonlighting. Al Jarreau. Oh man, he passed. That sucks. All right, didn't he? Yeah, I think he did.
Yeah, so we saw Moonlight. I know.
Yeah.
It's an old movie. Well, it's from several years ago.
It's from 3 years ago. We said it.
As we said.
About 10 minutes
3
ago.
Oscars ago.
3 Oscars ago.
But we are just now getting to this. And why did you pick this movie, Josh?
Okay, but the next question is, why did it take us so long to get to this movie? The first, so I picked this movie because it's right now we have a day and a couple of hours till Black History Month ends. If this would have been last year, it would have actually been too late. But we're in the leap year, so in perfect CP time, we're posting this, But I think I saw this documentary on Netflix that just made me think about black films and really taking time to shout out, salute to black films as a black dude. And then also we have this thing every year that we do Black History Month, and everybody tries to act like they know a bunch of stuff about Martin Luther King. So I figured, why don't we do something like that where we, highlight a black film? And originally one of the ideas was Eve's Bayou, which I thought was a great film, which I don't think you've seen.
Nope.
I want to do Hollywood Shuffle because it was a funny movie and a parody of Hollywood, especially in the 80s with Robert Townsend. But then I remembered we never saw Moonlight.
We did
Best
not.
Picture, Moonlight. Yeah. We never saw it. And we had it in the queue when it was on like Hulu or Amazon for free. Mm-hmm. We didn't watch it. And then now it's on Netflix, thankfully. And then we watched it today. But I thought, man, there's all these films that we can see and all these different things. And all these films that I see that, don't always completely, they represent me as a human being and different things, but not representing part of, who I am as a black man. So I thought, well, why don't we watch this movie? Many people have co-signed it, white, black, otherwise. So why not? Why have I not watched it when I've watched all sorts of dumb films? So that was the reason why Moonlight was chosen.
All right.
Moonlight. No, really, it's you. You won.
Oh.
From the Oscars.
The Oscars.
So, what was my question I was asking? Why haven't we seen Moonlight?
I don't know. Why didn't we see it? I kind of forgot about it after it won, and I don't know why we didn't watch it beforehand.
I will say, I only did watch La La Land because your parents wanted to see La La Land. I wasn't really into the idea of it. I felt like the United States was in La La Land in 2017, but it was a good movie. But it was like I saw La La Land, but I didn't see Moonlight, the Best Picture. So I think I didn't see it because I didn't know. For me, it's really hard to watch a quote unquote black movie because I'm kind of sick of seeing quote unquote black things, like black movie things. Like, oh, this guy sells drugs. Oh, this person has no mom. Oh, this person talks this kind of way. Oh, like everybody's the same person. Oh, this is Boys in the Hood all over again. This is, there's only like 3 black films that everybody quote unquote loves, like that goes to like white audiences and things like that. And those are the movies. Some guy that you kind of feel great about who's trying to change his life gets shot dead in the last 5 minutes of the movie, or this guy is selling drugs and he's an evil guy or whatever. And so I was just like, I don't know if this is going to be that type of movie. So I think a lot of times that's the thing that kind of holds me up when there's and I think that, I'm 38 years old. So I've been watching movies for a long time. And so I haven't really come around to the complexity that Hollywood has now with movies for all types of people. I know the common tropes, and so I'm always kind of leery about, like, oh, okay, so this is a black movie and somebody's got a do-rag. Like, what is this going to be about?
Right,
is it going to be the same kind of story? So, yeah, I think that's why for me. But also, I did want to see it. I just didn't want it to be the movie that I thought it was going to be. So I think that's why I didn't see it.
I did not want to see it. Mm-hmm. I think I just never really understood what it was about.
I think there's some of that too.
I had no idea what it was. So it never really like jumped out like, oh, we got to go see this movie.
Right.
So I don't know.
That's true.
And I still, when we sat down to watch it now, I had no idea what it was going to be about. I had some sort of, I think just from seeing that, the cover or that image of him swimming. Mm-hmm. I feel like that's a scene I saw played a lot. And so I thought this was going to be, maybe I thought it was, when we sat down to watch it today, I thought it was going to be, the whole movie was going to be the kid.
Oh, okay.
So I thought it was going to be this little boy's story.
Right.
And his relationship with Mahershala Ali's character. So I was a little bit surprising, I guess. I was like, oh, wait, what? What? Who's this? And then like more people pop up.
So tell the people.
Right. So in case you haven't seen it or it's been a minute, this is the little synopsis from Wikipedia. It says the film presents 3 stages in the life of the main character, his youth, adolescence, and early adult life. It explores the difficulties he faces with his sexuality and identity, including the physical and emotional abuse he endures growing up. So it's filmed in Miami, set in Miami. Yeah, so that's the synopsis.
The funny thing is, when the movie started, I just assumed it was in Atlanta, and then they went to the beach, and I was like, "What?"
Oh, right.
And I was like, "Palm trees." I was like, "This isn't a lake." Okay, so what city are they in? And it was like, "Oh, okay, Miami, makes sense." Like I've never seen, besides a cop movie or a movie about Cuban people, I've never seen any other type of people or any other story told
in Miami.
It's always like drug heist, cocaine, true. Kingpin.
Y'all correct us. Like, bring us a movie set in Miami that does not have to do with drugs or guns or cops
or Cuban people or any people of, what's the right word? Latin descent. I don't know. Cuban or Dominican or whatever. So that was where I was like, oh, okay, interesting. So that was the first thing that like flipped it on its head for me. I was like, oh, this is a story.
Where were they in Peanut Butter Falcon? Were they in Florida?
They were,
but I guess not Miami.
Yeah, I think they were on the Mississippi, so they were maybe higher up.
Yeah.
It doesn't have in Florida, but they were higher up somewhere.
Okay, never mind. So also I just remembered that I think I also had the idea that this was a love story movie. Mm-hmm. And I thought it was actually Mahershala Ali's character. I thought it was like his love story.
Oh, yeah. I think I thought that at the beginning, like when it first came out. But then I saw clips. I kind of pieced together maybe what the story was, but I didn't completely know.
But I'm actually really happy I was wrong on all accounts what I thought this movie was.
I like being totally wrong about movies. I think a couple of things that I think that were interesting were the complexity of the mom. Mm-hmm. Like I was saying, like a lot of the tropes is, you have a mom, a black mom, and she's single and she's on drugs and she just stays on drugs the whole time and like doesn't change. Mm-hmm. And I think even most films, like, the only thing that comes off the top of my head that doesn't do that, and it's not a film, is BoJack, but that's the first thing that comes to my mind because we just watched that where BoJack actually grows and stops doing drugs,
right?
Or drinking. But a lot of films in general, but definitely like films where somebody's got a black kid and a black mom, that the mom is just like a crackhead throughout the whole movie,
right?
And she dies a crackhead,
right? I mean, I literally kept saying like, I'm so scared, like I'm waiting for him to walk in and find his mom,
right,
dead on the couch.
And so, just her being able to find sobriety and, her trying to get her son out of what he's doing.
So it was interesting too, because we also, when we first meet her, she's coming home from, we're assuming, night shift working as a nurse.
Yeah.
And then we find out later that she's also got other things going on with drugs and I assume prostitution. And how that was, I think you were saying like, oh, you don't usually see that. Like,
no. An employed,
right? The
job.
Employed
with the good
like
job.
The good job.
Yeah. I think that's something I think a lot of people don't think about. I remember somebody was talking about they knew a bunch of functional meth heads, and I knew a functional alcoholic, and he was by no means like even the functional alcoholics you see on TV where they're mean or weird. He was a perfectly cool, normal dude, but he just drank all night, and he would come in smelling like alcohol, and I was just like, okay. Interesting.
Yeah.
So, I think a lot of people don't think that because on TV we see the person who's a drug addict is the person who has nothing and no opportunities and had a horrible life and this and that, and they can't get a job.
Strung out all the time.
Right. And it's just kind of like, no, you can have a job and then be a drug addict, or you can have a job and then lose everything. You know, it's not just.
Which it seems like that's where she ends up.
Right.
She ends up. Okay, so it's never, nothing is really ever explicitly said in this movie. It's all you just pay attention.
Yeah.
But it seemed like she definitely lost that job.
Yeah.
And things got worse.
Yeah. Well, I think, in this movie, there's just a lot of imagery that doesn't tell you much, but you kind of go, oh, okay, I think
you understand.
Right. I've never seen Boyhood, but I feel like it's, well, Boyhood's actually, well, they're both 2-hour movies, I think. But it's like this thing where you're dealing with stages of somebody's life, you know? You can't like cover everything. So you as a viewer, I was gonna say reader, that's not right. Have to kind of like put the pieces together, you know, and kind of like how the kid starts, where he just shows up and he's getting chased, which is like his whole life. Most of his life he's being chased or harassed. And what's Mahershala's character's name? Juan.
I didn't know that until I looked it up on IMDb.
So because they never said his name. Because they just said Blue. But, you know, he just sees him and, you know, it's just kind of like, hey, you know, just come with me. You know, and I thought that was cool because, you know, once again, you know, it broke everything that I was thinking the movie could be. Yeah, he's a drug dealer, but he cares about people. He didn't put that kid on the street like in every other movie. You see, like, hey, kid, what's up? Hey, man, you want to make some money? Hey, you want blah, blah, blah. I'm going to show you how to get girls. I'm going to show you how to shoot a gun. He was just like, I'm going to show you how to swim.
Right,
like,
right.
The thing that is total the antithesis of what you think would happen in a movie full of black people, a Hollywood movie.
So in case you haven't seen the movie, so it kind of starts off with the little kid, he's being chased. He's little. They call him little. He's like what? Probably 7? Something young. And so he ends up hiding out at like a drug in a, I don't know where that was, apartments or something. So it's been a boarded up, trap house. Mahershala, his character, Juan's there doing his thing. He's a drug dealer. Comes across this kid. He's like, hey, what are you doing here? You know, he could have just been like, go, you know, like get out of here, go home. Right. But yeah, he, like you're saying, he cares. So he takes him. He's like, it's kind of like coaxing a scared cat from under the bed.
He was like Kitbull.
So yeah, it took a minute for him to actually come, but you know, he takes the kid to eat and feeds him, and you know, is trying to get him to tell him where he lives, and the kid won't. We don't really know what's going on, and so he eventually takes him home to where he lives. And he's got his girlfriend there, and so they feed him some more, and they let him stay the night. And then in the morning, he finally tells them where he lives so they can take him home. And at first, we're kind of like, what was that all about? And then he gets home, and it takes a minute for us to really see the whole picture, because his mom comes home and she's a nurse, and we're like, oh, well, why was he so scared to come home? And then we kind of get more of what's going on in his house, and he just didn't want to be home alone, maybe overnight, because his mom's out working, and then we see a little bit more of what his home life is like. So he keeps popping up over at Juan's house, Mahershala's character's house, to spend time together. So Mahershala is hanging with him and teaches him to swim. I don't know if that was the first time he'd ever been in the ocean.
Probably.
Sort of seemed like it. So he teaches him to swim, and they feed him a lot. So anyway, it was nice. And this ends up being a relationship that spans his life as far as we know.
Right.
At least into early adulthood, which is as far as the story goes. But it was really nice. I loved Janelle Monáe. I did not know she was in this movie, but I loved her. What was interesting is Mahershala Ali, since I had going in, thought he was going to be in the whole movie. Thought the movie was more focused on him. And he drops out in the first
30 minutes?
Yeah. Once they get to the kid being older.
Yeah,
we don't really know where he dies at some point.
Yeah.
We don't see it. It's just a passing statement that somebody makes. We're like, oh, snap. He's gone.
Yeah, and that's an interesting way to do it, because it's kind of like a book. How people say they like the book better than the movie because it lets you fill in blanks of what might have happened. Like, did he die trapping? Did he die just in a car accident?
Mm-hmm.
Did he, what happened? So it just leaves that open for you to kind of interpret however you want. And then
Oh,
Janelle Monáe's character just continues to take care of him, which is cool.
So, actually, the last scene we see him, Mahershala, is when little, little, what's his name? Chiron.
Mm-hmm.
Chiron comes to the house after his mom has yelled at him, and he's been seeing her do drugs and all this other stuff, and so he shows up at their house and starts putting things together, and then he asks Mahershala's character. He says, my mom does drugs, right? He's like, yeah. He says, you sell drugs, don't you? Or do you sell drugs? And then you can see it breaks him. Mm-hmm. It breaks the character. And he's so, I want to say ashamed.
Yeah.
I guess not maybe ashamed enough to change. We don't really know. But that's the last time we see his character. So that was interesting. And then little boy runs out. So
the other interesting thing of that where you see him having to grapple with what he does is when he finds out that the boy's mom came to buy drugs from him.
Mm-hmm.
And then she pretty much calls him out. It's like, oh, so, you're going to raise my kid and then you're going to try to tell me not to do drugs. And then you think you're better than me, but you're the one selling me drugs.
Right.
And so I was just like, oh man, that would be a weird
predicament
to be in. Like,
because he's literally seeing the effect.
Right.
Of what his job,
right.
Quote unquote,
You're
is.
You're the reason why you have to take care, or you have to like kind of father this lady's kid.
Right. You're the reason this kid's sad. You're, part of the reason this kid doesn't have food.
Yeah. So. That was like, oh wow, that's really deep.
But we also it doesn't delve into all of it. So all of it is open to just observing the character take this in. We don't see this big dramatic like fight between them or whatever. It's just like a little honest moment, and the kid runs out and he's left there contemplating his life.
Right. The I think like the other thing is like his school life. So his home life's crazy, but his school life's crazy because he's scrawny. Like he's super scrawny. I feel like I can kind of relate to him like in a way where in high school and middle school I was just like bony. And then like there was a lot of other dudes that were bigger than me, but nobody messed with me. But I remember like going to a track meet once and I was dating this girl and I assumed she was in the black dudes, but she like ditched me for the strong, like muscular black dudes. And so that's how I felt when I was watching that. I was like, that's me. I was like, just like, hey guys, what's going on? And then the other guy's like, yo, what's up? And I'm like, oh, why'd you get those muscles? How'd you get bigger than me? Why am I just bones? So yeah, the kids were picking on him, and they were just calling him gay without really any information, which is kind of scary for that to be a thing still. But I think the thing, with this movie that made me think about, like I'm almost 40 and I was thinking about how I grew up and like it made me feel really bad. Like, there's just a lot of things that I think about when I'm younger. Like I've never had, any ill feelings towards anyone who was gay. But I definitely didn't play the part of an ally really. Like vocally, I was telling you when we were watching the movie that when I was a kid, as far as I can remember, at least when I lived in Texas, I don't know about New York, but we would play a game called Smear the Queer. And that was the game. And it was like when you step back and unpack it, it's like, let's punish a person for being a certain way. and that certain way is gay. Or assuming they are, and by assuming, we are assuming there's something wrong with them. So we're going to jump on top of them and attack them. And it's just kind of like, you just think like, oh, that's a funny thing. Or like somebody says something, you just go, you're gay. And it's like, oh, like, why do that?
Right.
Why, like, if you're trying to hurt someone or offend someone or joke with someone, you know, that can already be an issue. But then you're also like putting down another group of people on top of that. So you're like insulting two groups of people at the same time, you know? So yeah, you know, things like this where I get to see an experience that isn't my own that I can also relate to because I am a part of a minority group. It's just like, dang, how did I not see that? You know, how did I not relate? Like, oh, like even now when I hear things about, you know, Shias and crap and dang, I forgot the other group, but different Muslim groups, different groups, Sunni, yeah, and like people being oppressed, you know, just because there's something that like really hurts me because I've gone through that and you know the empathy of that. So, you know, seeing this movie and seeing this kid go through this was really hurtful because I was just like, dang, like this kid's just himself, and he, you know, he's trying to figure out. And when he had that conversation with Juan, he was like, you know, people are calling me the F word, and I don't know what that is. And then they like nicely explained it to him, you know, and he was like, it's a word that's a derogatory word to make gay people feel bad. And then he was like, am I gay? And he was like, you don't have to really think about that right now. Which I thought was like a really good way to put it because as a child, you know, maybe you do, maybe you don't. But as a child, like you don't have to worry about like, what am I, you know, we ask kids like, what are you going to be when you grow up and all that type of stuff. But you can just be a kid, you know, it's like, just enjoy your time. Maybe you might have a crush on Billy or Sally or no one or whatever. But as a kid, it's like you don't need to be worrying
sort
about
all that out right now.
Yeah, like am I a Democrat or am I a Republican? It's like God, just be a kid, like you know. And if you want to get into Republican or Democrat stuff or canvas or whatever, or you know you want to be gay or whatever, like
she said you'll know when you know,
right?
And he said, and you don't have to know right now,
right?
So
yeah, I thought that was cool.
And they were talking to like little 9-year-old Chiron or whatever, the little one.
Yeah.
At that point.
So, yeah, but like, so yeah, if you haven't seen the movie, like to just throw up the school side, you know, so he's getting picked on. There's this kid with dreadlocks. I forgot his name. He's just like, this is when he got older. This was like 14, 15, right?
Yeah, I think this is like high school.
Yeah, so he was already getting picked on, but then like a central character comes in and there's always like waiting for him after school and threatening him, making him and this other dude and making fun of his mom for being a drug addict and talking bad about Janelle Monáe's character that's been helping raise him, you know. And he can't really do anything about this. These dudes are bullies. But he has this friendship with this dude, and it was interesting because as soon as I saw that character come into play, I was like, this is gonna be his love interest. Like like immediately.
His best friend. Right?
Yeah. Yeah. So he always called him Black. The best friend. I forgot the best friend's name.
Kevin.
He was always calling him Black, you know, and so he told this grandiose.
He had all these nicknames growing up. So when he was little, they called him Little.
Yeah.
Because he was too scrawny. And then when they get older, his friends calling him Black.
Oh, yeah.
He's like, no one ever called me by my name.
Right. So he you know, he's essentially closeted, and you know, he's kind of like making these grandiose stories about this girl that he hooked up with and slept with in the hallway. It was just like, as soon as he started, I was like,
what do you know about any of the things you're saying,
like,
kid?
Like I knew people like that in high school would just make up like middle school, high school would make up just like crazy stories. Like, yo, I was doing this. And I was like, no, you were not. You were not doing that. I know you're lying. So I was like, okay. But yeah, so they have a moment They go out to the beach and they have a little moment together, and Kevin drives him back to his place. And
well, the moment, we'll just elaborate a little bit, is the kiss. They actually like confirm feelings here.
Yeah.
So anyway, Chiron's no longer alone, and Kevin is no longer closeted to the other guy. Anyway.
Right. At least between the two of them. So they have a camaraderie. They have not really a relationship, but some sort of bond.
Mm-hmm.
You know. But then, like the next day, the bully's like, "Hey, remember you used to just swing on people like whenever someone dared you?" And he was like, "Yeah." And so he wants him to attack Black, the main character. And you know, it's crazy because you see this happen in so many different things. Like we're watching Hunters, and you know, and a lot of other things where people don't know what to do in a situation where you're being oppressed and the other person's being oppressed, and then they're like, we need you to kill that guy. And you're like, if you don't kill that guy, we'll kill you. So they were like, hey, we need you to punch this dude in the face. But this is literally the dude he was just kissing on.
Yeah. That was a little heartbreaking.
Like,
what was he supposed to do?
Yeah, I'm like, you know, obviously,
I mean,
there's the...
Well, not do it. Yeah. But you know, like, when you're in high school...
And it's twofold because you've got your quote unquote manhood is being challenged.
Mm-hmm.
Your reps being challenged. I guess threefold. And then possibly your sexuality is being challenged. Because that's what people are going to... That's what they're going to go for.
Yeah.
Oh, you're not going to hit them? What are you, gay? Right, you guys, what's going on? Like, even if there's not even any quote unquote evidence, and like there needs to be evidence, but it's just like, that's what people do. They just go there with it. And so, yeah, he like punched him a bunch of times. But then Black came back.
Which really, that's the catalyst that changed
for everything.
His life.
That was crazy. Then Black just comes back and hits him.
Snap! Yeah.
Hits that dreadlock dude with a chair, like Bart with Homer in the tub style. Like I was like, oh snap! That was
like WWE.
Yeah.
What is it? WWE.
It's WWE now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That was a full-on chair smackdown.
Yeah, and that dude was out like a light. Hey,
and he came walking back into that school.
Oh, when he went to go hit that dude.
Solid, yeah. And I was like, oh no, what is he about to do? Because he had a stride he had not had in this entire film so far. He was normally walking like head down, slumpy. He came storming back into this school, walked straight into his classroom, picked up a solid wooden chair.
Yeah.
Smacked this guy over the back with it. It was oof.
The funny thing about that chair was like
straight to jail.
In reality, that chair, like maybe one of the legs would have broken, but that chair would have been solid. Like that would have been.
You don't think that would have broke? He swung hard.
No, like that. I don't know. I guess, but that chair looked like a real chair. Like
yeah, it did.
Like you know, like a well-crafted wooden chair.
But maybe that's why he went down so hard.
Yeah, but I just think like the way that things happen in movies and the way they happen in real life. Yeah. It's like, oh, I'm gonna bust this over their head, and then it doesn't break, and it like goes into their skull. You're like, dang.
Or it bounces back and hits you in the face.
So, but I think
that was rough. That was because I immediately thought, like he didn't have to go to jail. You know what I mean? Like,
there's no proof of the other side. Remember, because when he got beat up and was in the teacher's office, he didn't snitch.
That's right, he didn't snitch. But I guess I meant in the way of like. He's from a hotel, you know, he's got all the makings of someone who goes to jail, right? He's in a hard spot coming up. He's, you know, whatever. And the character, he was a soft kid. He was emotional. He was, you know, whatever. It was, he didn't have to end up in jail. And then he does.
I see what you're saying.
Yeah. And then
like because of if you took into account his life and his past, he shouldn't have gone to jail because, like, look, he's a good kid. He doesn't bother anybody. Is that what you mean?
No, I just mean like a lot of movies, like you said, like Black movies or any movies really, like the character who comes from that lifestyle, like comes from the super broken home, comes from the drug den house. They typically end up in the same kind of lifestyle and will eventually go to jail.
Yeah,
getting busted for something.
Right.
But he the way he was like a softer kid, didn't really want any of that life. He would go to the other family to stay over there, like to feel safe. And so in my mind, I thought, okay, he's going to make it out of this unscathed. Like he's going to, something's going to happen. He's going to get through school. He's going to get through this. He is not going to end up in jail. And then he does completely out of character. That's the flip, is like, it's not even, he didn't even get busted for drugs. You know what I mean? It wasn't any of that stupid stuff. He broke, he snapped, and then snapped a chair over somebody.
But I think that's the thing, though. I think that's the thing about this movie. I think as a kid, as a black kid in an impoverished neighborhood with problems that are going on, and as probably a homosexual kid, you have all this stuff coming at you and you just want to be you, but everybody's telling you you can't be you.
Right.
So then you're just like, all right, fine. I'm not going to be me.
Right.
I'm going to be
the person. I'm going to be the bully.
I'm going to be the person you want me to be. So you'll leave me alone. And I think that's what happened to his character and Kevin's character. They both became people that everybody just wanted them to be. They're like, look, okay, you want me to be the drug dealer? You want me to be the hard dude that, sleeps around and does whatever? I have the car, the gold fronts. Fine, I'll do that. If you just leave me alone, like stop beating me up.
Right.
And then I think Kevin was like, all right, well, I don't know if I could be this person because then people won't accept me for who I am. So, all right, I'll have a kid with somebody, and I think that's kind of the thing that, ends up happening. Like people feel like they want to be themselves and people keep pushing them to be somebody else.
Right.
And then they just, like you said, they just snap and they're like, fine, I'll be an investment banker. I'm going to be the best investment banker dude. And you're like, why did this guy pull a Bernie Madoff? It's like, well, he was trying to be an artist and his parents kept pushing him.
And this is something we can all relate to.
Yeah.
Like being pushed to be something you're not.
Yeah.
That's when a lot of anxiety comes into play. We all have our different ways of kind of reacting to these pressures. But I did like that the characters were not, they were so layered. Like he had a lot going on. But the movie didn't focus really on any one thing.
Yeah.
Right? Like it wasn't just about a gay kid. It wasn't just about a black kid. It wasn't just about
a poor kid.
A poor kid. Yeah. It was kind of like you really saw him as a whole person.
Yeah.
It wasn't, at school he was getting made fun of for being presumed gay. As far as we know, he didn't never told anybody that. I don't even know if he had it all figured out. Really, but that was what everybody just assumed was going on, and then they decided that was bad. And then his home life was something completely different. So I don't know, kind of like how it focused. You saw the whole man, I guess.
The whole man child.
The whole man child.
But yeah, so I think also as he got older, it was interesting. Like we said, they have both men go in paths that you don't think they would necessarily go in, but especially with him dealing with a mother that has drug addiction, it's kind of like I allude back to the night of, when you don't want somebody to do something, but then even if they make a bad decision, you mess with their options or you put them in an area where there's a bunch of crazy people or bad people, they're going to get influenced by that. It's like you can't be in jail. I've never been in jail, but I'm saying like in general, you can't just, it's all circumstantial, but like going to jail is not going to be a walk in the park by whatever way you slice it. And if you're in a jail that has hardened criminals, and if he got bullied in high school, jail might be another area. So when someone gives you an opportunity to do something as a felon, possibly, which was to sell drugs and all that, it's like, okay, But then the other thing is you just end up being the character of the person that actually there's two sides. There's his mom that he has to look at and remember what drugs did to her life. And then, kind of his short time mentor, Juan, and what he was doing and how he felt about Juan selling drugs. Mm-hmm. And it's just like all these things, but then you then are like, well, how do I present myself?
So the next thing we see is, so we see him bust this guy with the chair and we see him taken away by the cops. And then the next scene is him grown. No idea how old, but he's grown now. And he's huge and he's been like giant muscles now and, looks completely different from the kid that got locked up. And then we start to see, I was watching, I was like, wait a minute. So he's got the do-rag on now. Mm-hmm. He's got the big diamond earrings. Then he's got the old car. And then he's even got a little crown on the dash. And then it dawned on me, he has become, literally, he's emulating now Juan, the drug dealer who sold his mom drugs, which is interesting.
It's like The Wire, how The Wire ends. It's just a cycle.
Oh, right. Yeah. So, Omar coming.
another gay character who was very strong and had to do what he had to do.
Mm-hmm. So he just accepted this is what he thought he needed to become to survive, I guess.
Right. Yeah. So it's funny because he's doing it. You see him doing this thing as at least a mid-level guy. Like he's not on the street.
Right, because he had somebody bringing money to his house and like counting. And
so you see that, but he gets a call from Kevin out of the blue, and then all this stuff starts flooding back, and they haven't spoken since he was hauled off to jail. So yeah, it's just I thought that was really interesting because I was like, I don't know how this is gonna play out. Like he's been living as this type of person for so long. Mm-hmm. Like, is he gonna call him the F word? Is he gonna like curse him out? Is he gonna come?
Oh, right, like completely go the other way and deny who he is.
Right, and is he gonna like drive to the guy's house and kill him? Like, I don't know. Mm-hmm. Like, I was just gonna, I don't know what's about to happen. But yeah, Kevin says that he heard a song that reminded him of their time together, and then yeah, he just drives down to meet Kevin. Was it Atlanta? No,
he had been in Atlanta.
Yeah, what's his name was in Atlanta. He drove back to
Miami.
Mm-hmm. To talk to them. So they sit down and like Kevin's just kind of, well, he didn't even know what he looked like when he came to the diner. So then they kind of had this look in their eyes where they noticed who they were, and they just started talking. But I think the cool thing was Kevin was kind of reminding him of who he actually really was, mm-hmm. and who he actually really is. And, that took a lot because, the dude's got gold fronts. He's totally like 50 Cent in the club jacked. And it's just like, I wouldn't have said nothing to him about nothing. I just like, hey man, good to see you. Like, I'm like,
You're
I'm not
really
messing with this dude. Yeah.
But good to see you.
But he really pressed him, like, why are you doing this? Why are you wearing this? And when he found out he was trapping, he was like so confused because he was like, what that does to people. You know what that's done to your mom. And, and we even find out his mom's like in rehab and all this stuff. And he had, I think right before that, he had spoke to his mom.
He went to see his mom.
And his mom's like, are you trapping? And they had this moment where she apologized and was like, you can't do this. And so like he's dealing with the emotion of that. And he comes and meets Kevin, and Kevin's telling him like, what are you doing?
Right. You can't do this.
And I was just like, wow, that's these people in his life are really trying to show him to just be his true self. Mm-hmm. And it's, it's obviously, important to his lifestyle, him being gay, but also, him just being true to like, you're a sweet kid.
Right.
You're a nice guy. You're just, why are you doing all this stuff? Why are you destroying lives? So yeah, I thought that was really cool. And then, then the ending.
Yeah, so they have a nice time. They're hanging out. They have dinner. They catch up, and then did they go out to the beach? No.
Did they stop at the beach? Because there was a.
No, he lives across the street from the beach.
Oh, okay. Because they stopped.
They were talking in the
parked at a
kitchen.
meter. So I was like, did they go to the beach?
No.
I was like, that wasn't a dream.
Right. But yeah, they're talking in the kitchen, and yeah. It's one of those movies that just ends.
Yeah, well, it ends, but it ends on this. He said, "You're the only man that's ever touched me."
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
And he says, "There's been no one else since you." And then it just ends, right?
No, then they sit together. He holds him.
Oh yeah. He's kind of like, yeah. And so I thought that was really powerful because it felt like layers were peeling off of him.
Mm-hmm.
And he was seeing like what he really was missing.
And we sort of saw, you could see the like the young kid in him,
right?
Like that sweetness,
right,
start to come back to his face.
So I think like this interaction, the two interactions he had in the last scenes, really, were just like boiling him down to like be himself and to be, even though all these things have happened to him, just to be himself and to, not have to put on that hard exterior. Like you can just be you. You don't have to sell drugs. You don't have to be tough. You don't have to be super masculine or muscular. Just be you. And I was like, man, I think that's something, and I feel like that's part of the reason it won. Like, I know obviously we're dealing with some things that some people may feel weird about, homosexuality or the Black experience or whatever. But I think that's something that everybody can relate to, no matter what we're talking about. It's just realizing that you can just be yourself. And like all these things that have happened to you are obviously shaping you, but they're also in the past. Like those bullies aren't around anymore. He's not in jail anymore. It's like you can do a different thing. Like what's his name was a cook. He became a cook.
Kevin. Yeah, he said he was on the line in prison, and he decided he actually liked cooking. So he found his career in prison.
Right.
And I think maybe he didn't own the diner, but it definitely looked like he was running that place.
Yeah, and nobody was telling him to get back to work when he kept talking.
Right.
What was the song they played? It was a doo-wop song.
Oh yeah, I don't know.
I don't remember the song, but it was like a love song. So it was funny because he was like, this guy came into the diner and played this song, and it made me think of you. So I had no idea what the song was going to be.
I did not expect a doo-wop song.
Yeah, so when it started, I was like, huh? But it was a very intimate song. So it was funny because Kevin starts the song and then turns and looks at Chiron, Black as well. We've been saying all the names that he has.
/ Little.
He looks at him and has like a look. And I was thinking man, if we were in that, I was like, is anybody else in that diner? Because I was like, if we were in that diner, I'm people watching like to 1 million. I'd be like, oh, who played this song? And I'd be like, oh, some guy must have played it for his girlfriend. I'm like, oh, there's a dude standing looking at him. Like, oh, at another dude. Okay, interesting. Like, just like, huh. But then also like, if you're as Little's character, I would be like, dude, don't look at me, because he's not really out like that. And I'd be like, dude, don't play that song and then look at me like that, But yeah, I thought that was a nice little thing. But
it was kind of cute to see it was interesting that their interactions in the car and like their little chit chat and how like he's got this tough exterior, right? And the gold teeth and all that. But yet when they're talking to each other, they're having these little moments with each other, and it's slowly breaking down. And so you kind of see him soften and kind of see him smile, which he doesn't really smile at all in this movie. Like a handful of times in all the characters does this guy smile.
Or all the ages.
Or all the ages, yeah. Has all the ages. barely smiles. So it was interesting to the juxtaposition, I guess.
Yeah.
To kind of see that.
I think that was cool too. Like, I think about like a budding relationship and how awkward it is. And then I think about a budding relationship that is not really accepted by society.
Mm-hmm.
And you don't even know like how you feel about. So I'm like, man, that's gotta be super awkward. Like, they had like these moments, but even when they were younger, and then even when they were older, it was still a little bit awkward. And it's just something for me that, because I'm attracted to women, it seems like a 2-step process where you have the attraction weirdness, and then you have the weirdness of like, are you actually into me, or am I sending out signals that can possibly be a little bit tougher to deal with than if we're talking about like if you and I were single and then I was kind of like flirting with you and then you weren't into it, it would just be like, I'm not into it. I'm like, oh, okay, cool. But if we're of the same sex and then you're not into it and then you're offended by that as well, that could really like cause a lot of problems where people like, yo, this guy, blah, blah, blah. So I'm just like, man, that's got to be super tough.
Yeah, to navigate.
Because even the second time when they met, he said he had a child. And he spoke that he wasn't with the mom anymore, but that doesn't mean that he was down for a male relationship. So it was just kind of like, man, that would be super tough.
Yeah, but they were also vulnerable. So I really like these characters.
Yeah, all these characters, like you said, were very layered and nuanced. They weren't flat characters. And I think that's the thing that made me feel good about this movie as it started and as we kept going through it, that I wasn't watching like the same movie that I've watched over the last 25 years.
So, in conclusion, Oscars, you got it right.
That's right. Moonlight, you won. No, for real.
Can I ask you?
Ask me what?
What do you think? So the movie just kind of ends, right?
So, what do I think happens?
Yeah. So does the spinning top keep spinning?
Spinning top.
or what do you think? Where do you think this goes?
I think.
Or what do you hope? Where do you hope it goes?
I think they give it a try. I don't know what that is. I don't know if it's a long-term thing or a thing, but I think they give it a try. Because, I think everything that's kind of was mounting up on him the last few scenes of the movie, I hope that he just goes to being, a guy who just goes to the gym and has a job. It's like, sure, you want to stay muscular, that's cool, but like, quit the drug selling and like, you guys start a relationship, or you guys become friends and you start other relationships, and you take care of your mom, or you grow with your mom now that she's sober. Because that's the source of contention. Like you can't even hang out with your mom. You're like selling drugs.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It's like if you were like, hey, I'm starting my own at home was it brewing? What's it called? Home brewing thing? And like your dad's an alcoholic. He's like, I'm not coming over to your place. Like there's just beer everywhere. So I think that's my hope. What's your hope?
Yes, I think he leaves Atlanta.
Oh, not your hope. You're like.
Yes, I play it forward. I think he leaves Atlanta. He leaves his gold teeth in Atlanta.
You don't like his fronts?
I don't like his fronts. I never heard him called fronts before. I didn't know that was.
Yeah, that's the term.
The term I always heard grill. Is that the same thing, right?
Grill, fronts. Well, I think the grill, the grill is the front of the car. So there's that. I don't know if there's a distinction between like.
Oh, that's true.
I think it's just, I would say, I don't know. I don't really know that well. I never have fronts or grills.
It's tomato. It's like calling Coke pop.
Yeah, but I wonder if the grill is like the whole thing, because you can get all your teeth, or you can get the front.
Oh, I guess he did just have it popped in.
Yeah, he had like the first 6.
Because he had to pop them out at the diner to eat dinner.
Yeah.
That would be a hassle.
That would be,
I wonder if he carries like a little retainer case.
Yeah. People are like, oh, look at this nerd. He's like, these are 24 karat grills.
All right. So anyway, so he leaves the fronts in Atlanta. He leaves the drugs in Atlanta. And he goes back to Miami, and I don't know what he does, but I
don't know what he does.
He gets a job, and he just tries to make an honest life, be genuine.
He becomes the Cisco distributor for that diner.
Yeah.
Bringing the food. You know, Cisco. Everybody knows Cisco. You know, you're trying to pull into a diner and then that stupid truck's in the way and you can't park. And
you know what's interesting too is we didn't really see, a lot of times movies they'll have like as a kid, they express some interest in something. And then that's what they always wanted to be. As like he didn't really have, he was just trying to like make it through life.
Yeah, I was gonna say his interest was getting through life.
Yeah. So that's a piece of him we didn't really learn about. So I wonder what he would have wanted to be.
That's interesting. Yeah, because usually it's like they want to draw, and drawing's their escape. He was just like, I just don't want to get beat up.
Right.
If you could just not beat me up, that's like my only goal right now.
He wanted a safe place to sleep. So he's safe. He's not dealing drugs. He's being genuine.
Genuine. He's
not genuine.
No.
He's being genuine.
There you go. Down. Shout out to Timberland. Come on the show anytime.
Anytime.
I think the great thing about this movie also was the cinematography and the imagery, the different scenes. Like when the mom was yelling at him.
Oh yeah, we didn't actually hear what she said till like the end of the movie.
What'd she say?
Oh, no, I can't remember.
But they just had her yelling, but was there music? Or there was like a undertone sound, but there wasn't music.
Yeah.
She's just like yelling something at him. And then when he has
I like the music in this movie. It set just the perfect tone.
Yeah, like when he was coming into the school, or when he was to beat that dude with a chair. Yeah. Or when, he was about to get beat up, there was like, they had a lot of like rumbling, low bass stuff that produced a lot of tension. But yeah, just like the camera work, like the first scene.
Oh, that's spinning. I don't know. That circle.
The first scene. Wait, what's that called? Wait, dang, now I got the names. Oh, Blue. That's Juan who plays Blue. Mahershala. He's on the block. Him and another guy, and he's talking to the guy, I guess his underling. And as they're talking, the camera's just swirling around the two of them. I was like, oh, it's crazy. Like it was building so much tension. I thought like
something was about to happen.
Mahershala was gonna get shot like first scene, because they were just like building tension. I think they were just kind of showing you like anything can happen on the block kind of vibe, even though nothing really happened. But there was just a lot of really nice camera work and coloring and like even when he had that like wet dream or whatever, it was like in this kind of like, man, like this moonlight. There was there was scenes and different things of moonlight and not shadows but reflections and the colors, because Juan even said when he lived in Puerto Rico, he said at night in Cuba at night she was like, you shine blue, in the moonlight. Yeah. So, they used that kind of imagery throughout parts of the movie.
Oh, that was the final scene. The very final scene was he was lying and Kevin was holding him and kind of caressing his head. And then I think he closes his eyes and then it cuts to him as a young boy.
Yeah.
Looking into the ocean, like in the moonlight. And then he looks back. So.
Right.
That was his little coming back.
Were there I feel like there were other scenes where he closed his eyes and then saw certain things.
We had dreams.
Yeah. Well, I guess those are closing your eyes.
Yeah.
But yeah, I thought that was really nice.
What else? So this movie won more than just Best Picture. This one, well, it got Best Picture, Golden Globes, and then Oscar, obviously. Best Supporting Actor, and Best Adapted Screenplay. So this was a book first. I think you said that earlier, right?
I talked about people liking the book better than the movie. But I didn't know it was a book.
Oh, I think so.
Only thing I know was a book was The Hobbit.
Okay. Let's see. What else do you say? Wikipedia, it became the first film with an all-black cast, I guess, to win. The first LGBTQ related film and the second lowest grossing film domestically to win the Oscar for Best Picture.
That's true. I didn't hear too many people being like, "Did you see The Force Awakens and Moonlight?"
Right.
Oh yeah, I forgot that was it was an all black cast. That is very true.
And then Mahershala became the first Muslim to win an acting Oscar. A lot of firsts.
Oh, I think the thing I get out of this movie is that, like I was saying, is why this movie won and why it hit so many people, at least in the Academy and the people who saw it, is that it is a story about trying to find your place in a community. And I think whatever nationality you are, whatever religion you are, whatever sexuality you are, whatever social status you have, you're always trying to find your place in a community.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you see movies where people go to country clubs and they're in this class that so many people will never be in. Like, I'll never be going to Mar-a-Lago for multiple reasons. But they're inside of Mar-a-Lago. There were people who are struggling to find their identity as card members of this club.
Right.
And people who are being trashed and like, oh, look at his wife's dress, and you heard her boob job got botched, and his kids, whatever, oh, he looks weird, or he got rich 2 years ago.
Right.
Or his money comes from 40 years, whatever.
Right.
And so I think people can relate to that story when it becomes, it's a very specific story, but it's also universal. And like how you tell the story obviously helps the situation. Like you could tell the same story, but just do it in a way to where maybe it just doesn't translate for everybody. But they told, I forgot the director's name, but he was talking about his struggle to make the film and how he didn't think it was going to happen.
Barry Jenkins?
Yeah. And, for you to be able to make that story and to tell something that's close to you and who you are, and then have it connect with other people who don't go through that experience, who don't have the same sexuality issues, people who aren't the same cultural background as you. And that speaks volumes, especially, like I was saying, in all of the things you just said, being a black cast, being an LGBTQ movie, being a movie, that's not all the things that you may think it is. And like you said, leaves a lot of holes in the promo.
Mm-hmm.
It's almost like Flight. When you saw the preview, you're like, okay, well, it's Denzel and he flies a plane upside down. I don't know why, but people saw it. People were like, I don't know. So there was a lot to be known, and people saw it. People realized that. So I thought, that says a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Especially when you're not just like, hey, there's a guy taking vengeance on his daughter being murdered, or there's a guy taking vengeance on whatever. There's and everybody knows, like, there's a guy driving a car who's trying to chase another guy driving a car.
Right.
It's just a lot harder that way. So, yeah.
All right.
I thought it was really, as you can tell, I've been talking a lot. It's just, It's really like, okay, really, that was deeper than I thought it was going to be.
Yeah.
So,
it's a good movie. It's good when they make you think.
It was. So, for the next whatever amount of time left, that is the 29th of February, 2020. Happy Black History Month. May this not be the last time you look into anything about Black people.
Yeah.
You're like, well, that's done.
Right.
Whew, now we can get back to this white stuff. Get back to Columbus. So yeah. Do you have any last thoughts?
Keep learning. Keep learning about people. Keep learning about people who are different from you. Keep learning about people who are the same as you. Keep learning about people.
Yeah. Keep shining, knowing you can always count on me. Oh, show.
Did I tell you he's an amazing singer too?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Next time I'll sing some Luther Vandross.
Do it. Do it.
All right.
All right,
cool.
y'all. Thanks for listening. We just saw a movie. Look us up. Subscribe. All that stuff.
Yeah.
Hey, we're on Patreon too.
Yeah. If you want to help us out, pay for our A-list. AMC A-list, shout out. Whatever. If you want to or not. Just reach out to us. We just want to know people are like actually listening. Thanks, Mike, for listening. He probably only listened to one episode, so he might not know ever.
Thanks, other Mike, for listening.
Mike V?
No, Mike W.
Oh, Mike W. Yes,
Mike W and Mike G. We got the mics.
Yeah, we got two mics, literally. Yeah, I need to do. We were doing a quid pro quo for,
if you're not named Mike,
podcast, so
you can leave a 5 stars and leave a review.
So Mike, I will leave a review for your podcast. We listened the other day on the way to the movies.
I already left my review.
Oh dang! All right,
it's fun. You can listen to Michael Walsh's podcast.
Yep, it's Cosmic Spot.
Yeah,
look up Cosmic Spot if you like techno house out from the Yorba Linda area. He does
Yorba
this thing.
Linda.
Yorba Linda?
Not Yorba Mate.
Yorba Mate
Yorba
Linda?
Linda.
Look at Linda.
Like your Belinda.
That's right. We shouted out everybody today.
Yeah.
Shout us out.
All right, y'all. If you haven't seen Moonlight, go watch it.
Yeah. Quit being something.
All right. See y'all next time.
Peace.
Bye.
Rats. Peace, rats.